Your event is starting. And here we are. On the big screen.
Just don't want to drown you out, homie. That's all.
No, you're fine. It's nice to have a little background music in there. Guys, let me know how the audio is. I just want to make sure I'm on top of that before we're 27 minutes in and Tweacz his sound like
Right?
he's been talking into a pillow.
I have been tugging into a pillow, sir.
Looks good on my end, but
You never know, though.
you never know until we get the confirmation. Dang, I forgot to use a Beast Hunter. Working on those event points now that you brought it up.
It's okay.
Vember says it sounds good. That's reassuring. Oh, wow, here we are. We made it, everyone. We made it. Literally. I like that name. Welcome to the Booda Gang. Ah, Panda will not be joining us. How sad. Sounds good, sounds good. Audio's good. Auradon wants my reaction to pulling Beyland. Sadly, it wasn't much of a reaction at all, since I prepared myself to go to pity for him and use the part 2 funds that we reserve for collabs on the grandpa himself. So it was very expected. It was very dry. There was no hype. There was no luck involved. In fact, there was anti-luck for both Tweacz and I, but we'll talk about that more in the pod. So, shall I officially do the thing?
Yeah, do the thing.
Do
Let's keep going.
We start by saying YouTube. What's going on? It's your boy Booda back in the building for another Power Creep podcast with the homie, my co-host. We got Tweacz.
What's up, fellas?
And that's it. We're two-man in this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Booda Gang.
Sure are.
Thank you for being here. Welcome, chat. I know you guys have been waiting. We were a bit behind on this update due to both your boy Booda and Tweakers. Tweacz, how was your vacation?
It's good, man. It was nice to get away for a little bit.
I bet.
Got back last night. Had a little fun little stream. We were farming a little bit after I got back. I've been missing actually doing a bunch of LC content. So I'll be happy to jump into that soon, but I'm glad the podcast is here.
Absolutely.
How was your little fun little trip you had? Well, maybe not as fun, but a couple days away.
It was long. And it's been a while since I've done that level of adulting. And what I like about
level of adulting.
yes, what I like about
man-child, very
pursuing the YouTube dream is the lack of dealing with other people professionally.
Weird. Isn't that just very convenient to not do?
Yes. So patience was tested. I managed to survive. So here we are. We got a little check, but I'm glad you got to have some fun because I know you're a very hardworking man, both in Las Cloudia and in real life somehow. It astounds me.
But apparently I know Life Las Cloudia, so it's fun.
That's right.
Anyways, we came. This was a great week to do a podcast because we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. I assume.
I think so.
We got a really, really good unit. So let's talk about polls first, because funnily enough, from my understanding, we both did the same amount of polls, and that is right here.
Indeed.
Aid, lap 3, step up, step 4.
Pain.
I got him in the exact same spot you did, like the 10th spot on this one.
That's funny.
I think you had him in the last spot, but mine was in the last spot. It's just gross.
It was painful.
And then the next multi he was guaranteed, and I'm like sitting there like, okay, I guess it saved me 3K paid, but
what is that?
Come on, don't make me cry.
No. I ended up summoning on it because obviously I had purchased the 80 bundle, so I got the prism, but it didn't feel good. That's
No,
for sure.
no, it did not feel good, but it took me a little bit longer to get the Ark too, so it wasn't very helpful.
Mm.
Even though I would never suggest anyone to chase perm arcs, having stuff is what I go for, and especially being on rate up, it's the best time to get it. So I just go for it, and it took me some free crystals, but it kind of sucked.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the paid polls were lackluster for both Tweacz and I. However, the consolation prize, I would say, was worth it. Uh, and that's who you can see on the screen.
Oh,
We've
he's
got
so good,
Gandalf in the house, everyone.
dude. The analogy to Gandalf the Gray into Gandalf the White is just so good, and that's exactly who I thought it was, and the kind of analogy that I saw whenever we first got his, trailer video back 2 days before maintenance, the day before maintenance. Was just like, holy crap, he went full grandpa mode and is like pure damage now. It's awesome.
No, it's pretty incredible. I don't have the extensive use of OG Beyland compared to
Uh-huh.
you and
Okay,
the
so
rest
let
of the
me just
veterans.
preface this. OG Beyland still has the same silent contemplation thing, and it is still a very good neutral unit, but this Beyland blows him out of the goddamn water. Um, from
Compare.
damage multipliers,
Hmm.
damage potential, even like the extra SCT sustain as well as HP healing. It's just disgusting.
And we're talking pound for pound, right? Like OG Beyland in the climate back then compared to
Right
this
now,
Beyland right
even right
now.
now, buffed right now.
Right.
Or you mean relatively like his
That's
first
what I'm
release with his
trying
paid
to.
weapon?
Well, that's what I'm
That
trying
thing
to
was still
say.
absolutely disgustingly broken when it first came out.
Yeah.
And it's still one of the best SCT things in the game. But no, the damage potential, the boss killing potential of this unit, having 10 out of 16 Slayers is stupid.
Oh my gosh. Yes. That alone is just. Yeah. I, it could be all coincidence, but I mean, this is the slot when Lougseus dropped with 2 group slayers. We
With
got
10
this new
Slayers too. Yeah,
Beyland.
listen, I feel you.
So I'm feeling like it's not quite coincidence, but I'm definitely not complaining either way.
Hmm.
Because yes,
Hmm.
the convenience of this unit is unmatched
Yep.
by
Yep.
anyone
Yep.
on the roster.
I mean, being single wheeled, very easy to build. Having 10 Slayers, being non-attribute, having his own SCT sustain, like
Yeah,
checks a lot of boxes, right?
checks a lot of boxes for a new account, for a
New
very
account.
fresh player. Um, do you want to dive into his kit before we get into kind of general talk and thoughts about him, or do you want to just kind of,
Absolutely. Why don't
yeah?
we jump into his kit, show what he's about? Um, Blade Master Beyland, probably one of my favorite units that's released lately. And he was a much anticipated unit, right? We've all been wanting shift DOH units, and he's finally dropped. They did a really nice job with him. So, soldier typing, that's important because there's a lot of extra different units in arenas, especially that can nuke soldiers. He is definitely going to get nuked in arena if you do not build him accordingly. But as to his abilities, rushing swordplay, flashing swordplay, absent swordplay, S1, S2, S3, these are pretty cool. And he has a weird thing in his traits, which I actually think we should probably go over his traits, right? Since this is all based on how he performs. So why don't we start there? Let's switch it up a little bit. But Silver Blade Master, it's just trait 1, boss wave. When only one weapon is equipped, physical attacks deal extra attacks, basically on his skills and his regular attacks. What this means is that those extra attacks are not pursuits. They're actually extra attacks on and have a changed animation during a boss wave. So anytime there's a boss wave, anytime there's the boss present on the map, you're going to get extra hits on all of your skills as well as your regular attack. This is a literal animation change from a non-boss wave. So there's an extra little hits at the end for each attack. Skill 1 gets 2 hits extra, skill 2 gets 3 hits, and skill 3 gets 5 hits more. Which is really, really cool because being such a good unit versus bosses, he's going to get massive caps and massive damage hit potential. Not only that, those extra hits on the end of the skills also get an extra 30% boosted damage, as well as 20,000 damage cap on those specific hits.
Nice.
Okay, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Question for you.
Yeah.
Is there a phrasing or a wording that you would have used to differentiate what this actually does compared to how we know extra attacks?
If they would have just said extra skill hits, I think that would have made sense. Or like extra physical hits.
Yeah.
Because the extra attacks we've been
conditioned,
used to meaning pursuits. What we call them as pursuits. So the phrasing is really weird.
Yeah.
I could see why, because it is extra attacks, but it doesn't explain what the difference between those and pursuits are, right? And which is why in the beginning of seeing his kit and seeing his traits in the trailer, we're like, this is really wonky. Like, what does this even mean? Like, when are these proc? Because we thought that extra attacks meant pursuits.
Right.
When are these proc? When, like, how is they gonna have extra cap damage? Like, this is weird. Is this gonna affect like Icy Guardian pursuits and all that kind of stuff? But it's totally different. It's just actually extra hits added onto his attacks that give animations. So very confusing, to say the least, especially for the community that has been around and knows and is accustomed to this grammar meaning something else. But
yeah,
why don't we get into straight to meditative state? When only one weapon equipped is one sword, no attribute damage plus 50%, damage cap plus 12,000. So he's going to be wanting a sword, single wield sword. That's what he's going to be geared towards, and that's the same. It's continual through his entire kit. It's going to be having one weapon and it being a sword. When physically attacked, got damage taken proportional to closest of attacks, minus 20%. So I do believe, and I have not checked. Actually, I'm going to bring up the unit tool now from Lake to check if he actually has this information in there. But I'm pretty sure the closer you get, the less damage you take, or the more damage mitigation you have. If he's like right up in front of the boss, it's not like that Maglion shield. It's like the opposite, kind of.
Right.
Damage taken minus 20% more from non-boss enemies with lower strength in the unit. So as long as he has higher strength than the enemy, which he can get boosted strength pretty high if he has, pride, those grand braves, or even brave itself, things like power counter, even the attack ups, stat ups, or strength. And you won't always know. You literally can't tell an enemy's defense or an enemy's strength stat, so you're gonna have to be guessing. But if you boost it as much as you can, or that's an option. But this is only from non-boss enemies. Are you going to take the most damage from non-boss enemies in battles? More than likely, no. So this can kind of just be completely ignored, and just when it's build him normally and when it's useful, it'll just happen automatically. But as to his skills, so let's go back to his skills. These are pretty interesting. Why don't I bring up the actual skill hit counts, because I don't have them off the top of my head. I know the the S3 is 17 and 22, but I'm just gonna pull up this little cheat sheet, because that's why I create these. So skill 1, rushing swordplay, is going to be frontal, medium air, slashing, breakthrough, combo attack. I don't know what breakthrough means. I think that means he flips to the opposite side when he hits them. I don't remember. But it's going to be your small cone-shaped or radial type thing. Like we've seen on many other units, where he has to be within a certain range in order to even leap in. It deals 6 hits with 2 extra attacks that have that plus 20,000 damage cap. Skill 2 is going to be 12 hits. It's a forward dash to close in, which is a little bit longer of an area than the S1. But it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of like a cone-shaped thing. It also has 12 hits and then 3 extra hits, or extra attacks, they kind of say. The S3 is the bread and the butter, which most S3s are for the in-game. This is a warp, or a gap closer, that he can be non-line of sight. It warps himself to the enemy and does 17 hits on non-boss waves, with an extra 5 hits animation-wise on boss waves. So for a grand total of 22. And with those damage caps, it's just actually disgusting. And the area itself, of it is pretty wide. It's, again, we all want the Roy counterparts, the massive AoE damage. It's not going to be that. But even being wide enough to hit as an X-Bat S3 on a melee attack is sick.
Yeah.
So that's really, really good. Formless Wheel, he's not a special boosted unit in a lot of his passives. So is it going to have some OK caps? Yeah, because he gets some boost when he's equipping swords. And it is AoE, so it's going to do some nice damage. Have I cared to dump some massive damage from his special into enemies? No, I haven't. I think his the main proponent of him being a good unit is his ability to do damage with skills. So, nice special to have, just like not the main go-to in his kit.
It's definitely pretty.
What?
It's definitely pretty to watch.
It is pretty, very pretty to watch. I will give it that. It's a very aesthetically pleasing alt. But as to his passives, that he gets an 8, Fighting Spirit 4, Heroism of 3, sure, Strength, Defense, HP. He also gets some Aim Vitals, which is nice because he does like crits, and crit damage is pretty cool for him in Arena. Proud Force innate is nice. Illusion, 10% chance to evade physical attacks. And then Brute Slayer, which covers 6 different anti-typing unit typings for the Beast, Plant, Insect, Bird, Fish, and Creature. And then another 4 here for Divinity Slayer, God, Dragon, Spirit, and Undead. What he's missing from his kit, so he has 10 Slayers and 8. He's missing 6 Slayers, which are all the human ones, which are Soldier, Knight, Sniper, and Sorcerer, as well as Stone and Machine. So those are the only things he's missing from his kit, are those 6 Slayers. He also gets Special Boost in 8, Auto Critical, Auto Haste, Ardor because he loves crits at full HP, Gale Force because he loves SCT at full HP. He also gets No Attack Raise 3 innately for more cap and damage boosting, No Attack non-attribute Critical Raise for more critical rate and critical strength for non-attribute attacks. Pose of Glory to give you some SCT back innately. Serenity, this is interesting. This makes him his physical attacks scale with mind. So if you wanted to build him up mind to build up his Proud Force potential, his magical defense, you absolutely can do that. I'm not necessarily building him that way because I'm running Dusk and Matisse on him anyways, so it's going to be boosted out the ass. Swordman's Mindset 2, which is, we've actually got the original version of this on the new SSR Ark, and a little bit less, but this is going to be the sword strength that you equip on him, plus 100% strength, and the clothes that you have on him get a plus 50% defense and mind boost from the stats that they give. Favorite sword, sick. Gonna have it on him innately. This gives 30% physical damage boost as well as 10,000 damage cap for physical attacks. Mystic Favorite Sword. This is not the same as Favorite Sword. This is not a separate damage cap boost innately. This just essentially boosts the Favorite Sword's effects plus 50%. So Favorite Sword now becomes plus 45% physical attack damage as well as plus 15,000 cap instead of its normal 30 and 10,000, which is pretty sweet. But when only one weapon is equipped and physical attack critical occurs, chance for damage plus 150%, damage cap plus 15,000. I have not checked with like this attack critical chance, but assumedly if it's similar to Instant Strike, which we've had in the past on many units, it's a 10% chance for each of these massive damage boosts to happen on a critical. So if you have like 50% crit and a 10% chance of those are going to be this massive damage boost, then essentially 5% of your physical attacks are going to have this damage boost. That's just, basic, very basic math. I don't know if it's all what it actually is, but that's just very basic. But those hits itself are going to have plus 150% damage and damage cap plus 15,000. So one of these random RNG stuff is actually a big reason of why he's pretty potent in PvP. Because if you end up critting and then having one of these Mystic Favorite Sword procs hit, you're probably going to kill whatever you hit. It's pretty funny when it procs because more often than not, even like a very well-built Beyland Shore in Arena, he can hit 50, 60k on some of these crits sometimes. Nothing's going to survive that.
It's very funny.
Guard Breaker, though, when only one weapon is equipped, chance to nullify guard. This is essentially Shockwave for free for single-wielding units, as well as stacks with things like Shockwave. So definitely add those if you're trying to break through guards. Doppelhander, of course, is going to be physical attack damage plus 20%, crit rate plus 10%, and physical attack damage plus 5,000. Great to have innately. Sword boost, high boost, and mega boost for free is stupid and amazing.
It's just...
Ultimate boost 2, sure, 30% damage on ults. Quick trigger, another SCT stock at the beginning of the wave. Indomitable Spirit for an extra nice little lethal damage survival, which is crazy good. Giant Killing 2, which is nasty for killing bosses. Ambition, which is essentially for bosses, since your enemy is, since the enemy is almost always going to have more HP than you, this is pretty much a standard 20% physical attack damage boost, just for every single unit enemy that's going to have more HP. Stupid. White Vestments is another kind of cool one. This is boosting mind as well, cutting feint time. Yeah, you're going to get a lot more mind and some nice little Proud Force damage procs from just using clothes. So he wants swords and he wants clothes, basically. Now, what I've used on him and what I've put on him is, let me just go by default. Because I have so much SC, and you can obviously, this is 98 SC, you can take some stuff off. He does really, really well with attacking regardless of the enemy. I mean, of course, if it links up with any of the 10 Slayers that he has, because he has special boost in 8 as well, he's going to slap really, really hard. I put attack ups on him because I just have extra SC. For the builds I was using, I was building him full crit, so crit up 1, 2, and 3 for 12 SC, 15% crit, as well as putting fast brave on him, fast speed because he's a slow grandpa and needs movement speed. Pride, flying shadow, these are all very they're all pretty self-explanatory. Dusk though, I definitely didn't add sharp eyes because I want to keep his MP at full. I'm also not using silent contemplation in this build at the moment, but when you are full SCT or full MP, he will get that defense in mind plus 20%, which further boosts his Proud Force procs. So if you feel like not using those things, if you have other SCT batteries or whatever to use on him, and to keep his MP at max, he's going to be super, super defensive. No attribute attack raise 2, because I have this and it's a luxury skill, and it's just going to boost all of his damage by 30%. Sure, I have the SC for it. Doppelhander boost. This is the one thing that's on the newest SSR Ark, which is kind of sick. It gives another physical attack and special damage plus 10%, as well as 3,000 damage cap, which giving someone damage cap on any passive is good, in my opinion. Close boosts and close high boosts. These increases survivability as well as give him some physical attack damage. Stock skill 2, Purple Orb. Of course, this is limited as hell, but I have chosen to boost his S3 as much as possible, those stocks, because it is his best damage skill. This is the power. Again, I'm thinking I'm using Council of 10 in this build, so that's why I'm using this. It's just, at some point, it's essentially a max or a constant 20% skill damage boost. Then high speed shopkeep because he is a slow boy. Why don't we go over his paids, Booda? Because his paids are pretty sick, right?
Yeah.
Now, I want to preface this because people will ask, which one's better? Which one should I go for? If I can only get one, what should I get? In my opinion, the close. Because his S3 is his best skill, I would suggest getting a max stock because it is base 2 stocks of it. If you wanted to get a third stock, that's nice damage. That's nice value for damage. It's better than just adding 15% damage and 1500 damage cap. An entire 50% boost to his S3 is good. As well as having continuous Matisse, which is essentially auto Matisse innately, and we've only ever gotten that on a random or an SSR Ark that is completely limited. We haven't had it return in probably over a year to get it. So, it's what the Dunes Ark, the Band of Dunes Ark.
Correct.
Right. I'm blanking for a second. The Band of Dunes Ark, which hasn't been back in a very, very long time. So having this with auto Matisse, which is super limited, as well as giving basically skill stock 3, and then having some really nice stats for him, as well as just being closed to activate all his passives, it's a very good item. But the weapon itself is good, don't get me wrong. 245 strength, 53 mind. Critical rate is great on his weapon because we are going to be building him for pursuits and crits in general, for one of his best in slot builds, as well as physical damage boost and physical damage cap. This damage cap isn't a lot. I actually expected more for him because he is a single wielder, probably like 3k, so yeah. It's not weird, like, because that doesn't get multiplied twice, right? 1500 damage on a dual wield unit is going to be a nice damage boost, but for him, it's just like, okay, you could use a lot of other things. You could use Muramasa, you could use Asterion. Those two swords are very free to play friendly and, are great weapons. So this is definitely replaceable. For the clothes, though, this is definitely one of the best options. Along with, like, where is it? Berserk God Brigandine. This one's pretty sweet. It just doesn't add anything that's going to, like, boost his kit, right? But as to the equips, you could add damage caps, you could add damage boosts. It's not really an issue, like, what you need to do for him. You could even add things like the Deathly Choker for crit. You could do a lot of things with him. Or build him bulkier, go right ahead. He's going to slap with a lot of the builds you give him because he has so much damage potential innate. Why don't we see how his skills work? So we're going to go into Fighting Theria. Of course, I think this is a very useful place to see his skills. I'm going to bring a tank on this build just because I want to allure people over to the area, and so we can see how his skills work. Yeah, we'll leave that on you. It's fine. Okay, cool. What I did not talk about yet is what we can talk about in game. Are his 2 passives or spells that he has. So we have Blade God's Charisma, which is a 4k damage cap boost to any single wielding units on physical attacks, I think, right? This is great and one of the better charismas for boosting other units like Roland, Heroic Lord Roland, or any other single wielders you want to use, as well as any other Beylans in the party when you're running multiplayer. Like, there's going to be a lot of Beylans in parties. A lot. I've already seen quite a few. But then Silent Contemplation is a spell that he has. This is an instant casting 35 MP spell that gives him 15 SCT every time you use it. So we'll go over that in a bit right after we do the skills, but it's pretty nasty. So, rushing swordplay. I'm going to run over here because he's fast now because I gave him some stuff. We're going to attack this bottom superior and see how he gets to run and does like that area. It's like a medium area radial attack. Like, he needs to be within a certain range. And then we're going to go over here and see about his S2. It's a little bit wider of an area, but it's still pretty good. And sometimes, just like we've already commented on the past, like a lot of these units have that weird, like, if they're too vertical, they have to run right in front of the units. But the S3 is the go-to here. Watch this shit. We're going to roll and just do 22 hits of this massive damage.
Everything's
just dead. S3 is the go-to skill. S1 and S2 are very good for damage potential when his S3 is not up, but S3 is the baby. Pretty nice.
Yeah, he feels very good. Very fun. We've talked about the fun factor many times on other podcasts, and thumbs up. He checks that.
Let me just make sure I'm not screwing up his stuff. Okay. Yes. So it not only boosts the damage cap, but it is boosts the physical. When the allies only have one weapon, it boosts their physical damage as well. So that's another big reason of why everyone in the party is capping when they're single wielding. Another 20% damage cap, or another 20% physical damage boost, as well as 4,000 damage cap. Silent Contemplation, this is what I mentioned before. Restores your own SCT for 15 seconds. Casting time cannot be shortened. Basically, this is instant casted. It takes a little bit of animation, sure, but your MP immediately applies. What this is good for is when you're fighting bosses and you keep getting interrupted. If you cast this, no matter if you get interrupted right after you cast it and it goes off, you can immediately cast another one then, which is crazy. It's almost better to get interrupted during this, or right after it procs, than doing it normally, which is hilarious. And it only costs 35 MP. If you wanted to throw Goddess Kiss on him to self-sustain that SCT regen, that's extremely high value. Because he hits so hard physical attacks, and Goddess Kiss procs percentage MP based on your physical attack damage on regulars. Like, it's really nice. So let's just fill his SCT with this. I think we can do 9 of these, so we can get 135 SCT. Let's do that. Let's queue it up. Sorry, what? Kenai who?
Yeah.
So we're full stocks.
That's
in
just nuts.
9 seconds? I mean, yes, it's 9 seconds. Sure, it's not 0 seconds. But this comes innate, and you can boost his MP to have more. You can add Goddess Kiss to get more back. It's nutty.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, we haven't seen it since Ruination with Baran.
This is like a mix between. Oh, so Ruination of Baron was fantastic as well. Silent Contemplation on OG Beyland is fantastic as well. But those have never been linked to a broken ass physical DPS like Shift Beyland.
Right.
So it's nuts. People are asking he doesn't need Pirate's Feast. I mean, I would still use Pirate's Feast in wave battles. If you're going to be using skills, if you're going to be doing damage, Pirate's Feast is the absolute most convenient way to get full stocks at the beginning of battle on waves 2 and on. So Pirate's Feast is something that I use on him, absolutely. But in boss battles where it's one wave and you don't have Honey Elixir, and let's just say you don't have Kenai, no Glass Record, no Winter's Apple Pie, you're like, oh my god, I don't have enough SCT. Well, Shift Beyland does it all himself.
Or
it's
talking about Pirate's Feast, if you load into a multi-wave boss wave that's got tens of millions of HP, and you burn through all of those skill stocks, you then have your Silent Contemplation to charge up some more.
Yep.
So,
and I'm not going to throw Goddess Kiss on him and just get that stuff back, but you can imagine. Boosting his MP, boosting his skill stocks, boosting his... Like, you don't need skill charges on him, necessarily. If you're going to be playing manually, yes. You do not need them. But if you have any purpose of, like, not using... he's just a super good unit at SCT Sustain because he has his own innate shit. Like... He's a great unit. He does a shit. He does so much damage, dude. So much damage.
It's quite absurd.
So why don't we just do a little fun? We'll do an Icy Guardian build. So one of the biggest reasons of why he's so good at damage is because he can also get pursuits. Being single wielding as well as having a massive crit percentage, like having things like the full crit package, auto critical, Ardor, Doppelhander, no attribute critical raise, having crit on his paid weapon, you can add the Deathly Choker for 3% more crit. Like, having those and then getting pursuits on his capping damage is nasty. And Icy Guardian is going to be, like we talked about before with many units, because he can build pretty much freely with crit, you're going to be wanting to be stacking with crit. And this is one of his best arcs. Absolutely. Of course, I was using Council of 10 earlier. This is just a very meta arc on almost every unit because of the SCT sustain it can bring at high arc skill levels, but also just getting that extra skill stock cap during boss battles or like longer battles, and then using your Silent Contemplation to fill them all up and to have even more stocks available as well as more damage cap. One of the best arcs in the game, definitely. The other arc that I would mention for for Beyland is Arch being El Javana. Of course, these are UR arcs. These are going to be some of the best arcs in the game, and there are of course many permanent options, but these are the best. This is another 6k damage cap on his skills, which is great. Strength plus 10%, like great stats for him. I mean, it's going to be fantastic on him. Icy Guardian though is going to be his max damage, and we're going to show that just here real quick. I am going to add on Deadly Choker because I think it's funny as hell. But let's bring in a unit that I think is going to let us just beat the shit out of this floor. And that is going to be Tinkili. Wait. Oh, there she is. I have her...
Her swimsuit, you
swimsuit.
little...
You know, it's hard to not like swimsuits. We'll do... I'm sorry. We'll do X-Bet with her. And let's put on Elder King just to make sure she doesn't do anything stupid. Pew, pew, pew. Okay, cool. Enjoy. And I have Honey Elixir on you. Yes. Okay, good deal. So we're going to bring Theo, and we're going to drop their ice res down. I don't think any of this rest is necessary. It's not. We're good to go.
This is some good stuff. Do you know... Well, I'm just going to watch.
What?
Nothing.
Do I know what?
The max amount of damage you can milk out of this is, or at least the most you have been able to get.
I kind of do. So at max, it's like 2.5 million.
2.5.
But this one's not gonna hit that hard.
Yeah.
I would need to boost his cap a little bit higher to do that, but you can see the potentials there.
Yeah.
That's one skill stock.
Anything hitting above 2 billion with a skill stock is just a
Yeah, or
little
even near,
crazy.
even 1.5 and above, it's just disgusting.
It's just nasty.
Uh-huh.
It's just
Yep, you can
nasty.
make this go higher, absolutely. It's just it's just crazy sometimes. That's a lot of damage for one skill.
It
A
really
lot, a
is.
lot, a lot of damage. And he's non-attribute, which means he's gonna mess everything up that he touches. So, Buddha, are you on your phone? Do you want to do a quest real quick?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of one, so you can
Oh, perfect. So,
load it up.
what we're gonna
I need to
do
add you.
is we're gonna bring the homies. I need to set him up though for. Do I have Pirate's Feast on you, sir?
I don't think you do with all
Don't.
those attack ups, you scrub.
You're not wrong. Ting 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 ting. 2. Yes, all right, good. This is all I need. Perfect. Wonderful. Lovely. Pirate's Feast is the tits. Where is it? I already missed it, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Whoops.
Nice. It's all good. Got it now.
This man's complaining about Murn being plus 18. You're fine, dude. You're fine.
I know. How I should ban him.
You'll be alright. No, you should not. No, you shouldn't, chill. What I am going to do is I'm going to bring Expet with Theo to clear the last wave. Yeah, let's bring Theo. Where is she? She's already on here, isn't she? Oh, God damn. All right.
I'm very excited for this.
I'm just going to equip whatever on her right now. Sure, she can just come with. I hope she kills the final wave. She should, but let me add you real quick. What's your friend code?
Well, I believe it's
No. Don't worry. I got you. I'll go get it. I know where to find it.
You saved it?
I did.
Oh.
If I could actually.
I have yours
Like-
saved too.
Oh man, let's go to. Oh no, it did the thing, didn't it?
There
we
I
go.
am.
All right, join me, sir.
Yes. Let us do it.
Let's do Redgate.
I'm very
It's gonna be really
excited.
funny. Oh no, it did the thing, didn't it?
What thing? You're frozen? Oh,
No, I hope not.
no,
We're in the middle of a stream, bro. Like don't be doing this to me.
You're bringing X?
You should bring Tinkilly.
Okay.
You should bring Tinkilly with pirate ship. Okay, why is this? Okay, hold on a second. Let me just do this. No, friends, yes. Haha, success.
Very nice. Shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm excited for this. This is one of my favorite
Okay,
parts of
so
the
can you-
podcasts.
Let me just make sure I have some things on him. I need to put on skill charge 1,
Mhm.
just so I have a skill stock at the beginning.
Yes.
Because
He
the
does
other
have
one might.
quick trigger.
He does a quick trigger, but having at least one S1
Yeah.
guaranteed is still good.
Oh yeah.
Um.
You want to check
All
my
right,
build?
we should be fine, dude.
All right.
We should be.
Trust me.
We should be fine.
That's a first.
This shit's super funny though. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I'm very
The amount of
excited.
damage that's just about to happen is just
Mhm.
absurd.
It's always a good time.
Oh man, I did it literally. What am I doing? Be better, Tweacz. What are you doing?
mean?
Stop pressing the magic menu. I'm just talking
Have
about
we-
myself.
Did
I don't know
either of
what
us-
what was my purpose.
Well, you were probably gonna throw on the charisma, which I don't think we've done yet.
Well, can you do that?
I can do
This
that.
one?
Yes.
Oh, S3. Just be quick about it, because I'm about to S3 this entire wave. Just kidding. Not kidding.
You're not wrong. Yeah, who knew a giant AoE on a physical attacker would be so cool and nice? Good God in heaven. Alright. Oh, why do I still have this pinned? Unpin that message. The people know they're here. We're live.
It's a lot of damage.
Yeah,
Okay, you ready?
He's just fun to watch.
He is. Fun to use, he's fun to watch. He zips around the map. He does an ass load of damage. Like, for farming purposes, he's great.
Sorry, I just got started.
Okay, this is about to be icy.
What even is that? What even
What's
is
funny about that
that?
is I don't think I was even capping.
Not the whites, or those were...
No, okay, so those whites were at the after the boss
was
already died.
Right, right.
So I think we were fine.
I don't think it gets much better than that, man. I don't. Oh,
I
gosh.
think it's not the quickest we've ever done it. Well, maybe, definitely not for me, but we've only, essentially we were using just two Beylands there, that's it. Tenkili and Exped really did nothing.
No.
They gave us damage caps, they gave us damage boost, sure, but they weren't adding any damage to the boss. I mean, that's only like a 5 million damage HP boss.
5.6.
It's not much. At this point nowadays, it's not a lot.
No, not nowadays.
Do we want to do Necrosion?
Let's try it.
Because it's literally the same shit.
Yeah. And do you know the ice res? I don't.
I know it with the Theo will be fine.
Oh, correct. Especially a level 10.
Let me just put on, just in case. Just in case.
Nah, we'll be fine, bro.
Tink, 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 tink. Sure. I don't think I've done this with him yet. This is, again, 15 million damage. So...
This will definitely be...
I hope we can kill.
Better, yeah. Better to see. We have pirate ship. 10 seconds. I don't know about that.
Yeah, we might struggle a little bit, but that's okay. Since we only have 2 DPS, but you never know, dude. You never know.
No, it all depends. I'm gonna do the thing. I did the thing.
Okay. We'll be alright. Oh, shit.
Is he stronger than Roland? That's a good question.
DPS wise, yes. Overall, probably not.
Shift Roland's a real special unit.
He is. They're very different in their what they're good at.
Yeah.
What they're best at, really.
Yeah.
Okay, time to do
your thing. And then we just send it, yeah.
I definitely won't kill with this, so we're gonna have to do S3s anyways.
Oh, wow. Oh,
we were fine, dude. What were we talking about before?
Oh, wow.
He's still attacking. What the fuck?
Oh, wow. I kind of just want to farm Necrosion tonight.
Now imagine more Beylands with
Yeah, I want 4 Beylands.
That's the shit I'm saying, dude. It's so
Yo.
funny.
Wow.
Booda, why are you flexing your rainbow friggin' thing on me, dog?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that sounded so sincere.
I am. Dude, I made a whole rant video for you.
I know, you're the man. So here's what happens here. Beyland, I don't think we need to explain anymore how good he is.
No.
His Silent Contemplation, even if you have no SCT stuff, his Silent Contemplation stuff is gross. Just add Goddess Kiss. That is one of the best arcs for him. Even if you like, here's the thing. If you were starting out with Beyland and you know Beyland's going to be your main guy, if you wanted to go and reroll for March of Saints, for Goddess Kiss as your first arc, like, I'm not going to hate you for it. If you wanted to bypass Sandworm and go get March of Saints, okay, good on you. Just be prepared to save up 15k gems whenever you get that, in order to get that Sandworm, and eventually. Yeah. But, like, Goddess Kiss on him is nasty, because it sustains his SCT, or his MP, to sustain his SCT, to let him do as much damage as possible. But building him full crit using Icy Guardian, which is his best damage arc for sure, 100%, as well as like boosting him for max damage or even max like defensive purposes using Dusk, using like Fast Fort, Matisse, all that good stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's laughably good. And he is going to get. I mean, we haven't rated him yet, but he's going to get an extremely high rating on the tier list. He's relevant to the top units in the game for sure. There's no question about it. He just has so much potential, and which is hilarious because the single wood units have been getting so much love.
Oh my gosh, they have. It's been a slow process, but it is. It's getting where it needs to be. It's already, I would say, it's
up there.
Yeah,
it's definitely up there. And that's all they needed to do was give them a shitload of damage caps, a shitload of damage potential. Let them be their own type of units. Like you can be built to him beefy as hell, and him still being a complete powerhouse, which is great. Yes. So great.
Yes.
But yeah, fantastic unit. I mean, in PvP, he still faces the same issues as most physical DPS that are melee, right? He has a warp, great. He has really fun skills and does some great damage. But what happens to him in melee is that he has to be in physical range of everything to do damage, which means he's gonna get slapped in the face by other people doing damage at the same time, like Shift Rollins, like Expets, like Levi's, Mikasas. He's gonna get absolutely melted by a lot of people, which again is a different style of play. It's just, in my opinion, he's very similar to units like Levi in Arena, where he's a glass. He can be built tanky, sure, but is that really going to matter in Arena? Probably not.
Not in the
He's
meta.
mostly there for his damage potential and nuking people. But if he gets caught out with a stray skill to nuke himself, he's going to get smashed.
Yeah, and that's been my experience as well. While it's very fun to see a 50, 60,000 damage cap in Arena when it happens, the experience still just pales in comparison to the long-range monsters that we have in Arena.
Yep.
The ease of that meta is just, it's ungodly compared to anything else, in my opinion.
Yep. And he doesn't have super armor. He doesn't have like he just is an insane physical DPS for damage potential. And it's great. I love it. I like him a lot.
Yep.
And he's he's one of these units, right? Like you can bring him. You don't feel bad about bringing maybe an underdeveloped Beyland to. Sorry. I was gonna sneeze. Underdeveloped Beyland to like multiplayer. Like you're like, oh, he's still gonna do some really good damage because if you have his skill tree unlocked, he's a fantastic unit.
And so the age-old question: is he a must pull?
Absolutely not.
Correct.
Dude, like, he's a fantastic unit, and they're going to keep releasing fantastic units. Does he have anything special in his kit that's going to break the game? No. Is he himself a self-sufficient unit that any beginning player can use absolutely if they want to reroll for him? 100%. If you want to reroll for this guy, go ahead. He's going to carry you through almost all of the content in the entire game. But what he's going to lack, and why he's not a must pull, is that specific specialty niche where he's not the most broken unit in the game. He's just a fantastic physical DPS and has great sustain,
which we have plenty of.
And he's in 6 months. He's going to be on every single DOH banner moving forward.
Exactly.
So he's not going to go away. He'll be here still. You just may not see him on your polls until 6 months from now.
Outside of supports, it's very hard-pressed for me to think that there will ever be a must-pull unit ever again. Outside of supports.
Yeah.
Because with DPS units, man, as convenient and incredible as Beyland is with everything we listed off, just as you said, he doesn't have a super specific niche which makes him invaluable in certain situations. He doesn't power creep the entire roster to a level that just is it's impossible not to notice. Like, he's just extremely good, extremely convenient, super fun. That's it.
But physical DPS at the heart are replaceable.
Always, yes. Yes. And they
Mm-hmm.
will always continue to be. So,
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
Glad you were on the same page as me about
Yep.
that.
All right. Arc time. Let's go over the arc.
Talk
Let's go over
about it.
the banner arc, the gotcha banner arc first.
It's a
Dreadwyrm Galanova. Love the art, man.
very
Thing's
nice,
sick.
man.
Beyland, what's up, homie?
I love the Beyland theme with him being all tiny next to a big
Tiny.
old monster.
Hell yeah. Sick art.
Mhm.
But the arc itself is permanent. Should you chase it? Absolutely not, dude. It's part of the banner. It's part of every single banner from here on out. So no need to go get it now. But what it does offer is some nice stats, short, and some nice passives. It gives attribute skill damage plus 25%, which is good for him, definitely. It also it's actually funny. This works so well with him. When incapacitated, revive 3 other allies are alive once per wave. Since he's relatively glass cannonish, and if he gets nuked by a certain boss's special or something, if the other units all have a little bit more survivability, if they're all alive at the end of that, he will get revived immediately, which is why it works pretty well on him. As well as having clothes equipped, critical rate plus 3%, physical attack, damage cap plus 1,000. So, I mean, an SSR giving damage cap is great. Yeah, as well as critical rate, and he is going to wear clothes. So yes, this arc is very, very good on him. Is it the best in slot? No, but definitely very good. As to the passives, Blind Resist, Shore, Dark Killer, Shore, Skill 3 boost is something we have not seen before. It is the same thing as the Skill 1 boost and Skill 2 boost, which means minus SCT percentage over time, as well as gets an extra 20% damage boost on the S3, which you probably won't need in most scenarios. Another One Nature, this is the second time we've had this. This was also on the SSR Militia of the Departant, as well as Swordman's Mindset. This was the, like I mentioned before, about Swordman's Mindset 2 that comes innate on Beyland. This is a lesser version of that, but it costs 7 SC, 50% strength of the sword that's equipped, and then 30% defense and mind of the clothes that are equipped are added to the base stats. Then the real prize of the arc is Doppelhander Boost. This is something we have not had equipable before. We've seen Doppelhander Boost 2 on Shift Roland, who came out, Heroic Roland, but we've never had any of these teachable. So right now, giving 10% physical attack damage boost as well as special damage boost and 3,000 damage cap for 6 SC is great for single wielding units. This is obviously only sword, so if you're not using swords, you can't use this, but it's great for all the sword users, which for last Cloudia, this is apparently last Swordia in general, because we have literally almost every unit in the game wants a sword, which is pretty funny, but definitely very useful. As to the AR, I don't have it yet, but it is pretty damn good, honestly. This is another stackable version of physical attack damage taken, so minus 7% is great, as well as cut feint time, which assumedly this is 50% less feint time, so turning that 30-second feint time from normal, maybe cutting in half, and then you add concentration to cut that in half again. Like, we don't have anything that actually cuts feint time, if I remember correctly. So yeah, this is a very nice AER. Or definitely solo content, because there's a lot of things that you'll get fainted by just by being attacked a bunch of times in boss battles. So good AER, great arc. Chaseable? No. This is a permanent arc. If you want it, great. If you got it, great in the way to get Roland. But nothing you need to be concerned about nothing you need to be concerned about spamming to get right now. Yeah. So along with Beyland, why don't we go to the event? Because I've been slacking my ass off on it. But this thing's pretty sweet. So quality of life for the event, and then we'll do the other there's so much stuff to talk about, seriously. Quality of life for this event, though, the best event points you can get are from the training daily discipline. This is going to be your last hard stage. You also get these. You want to be stealing from the boss wave for the extra battle tickets. I think it's either, I would steal from both ways if I could, and I don't. Maybe someone can clarify for me that it is only in the boss wave, but I'm pretty sure these are only from the boss wave.
That is correct.
Okay, good. So this is worth the two orbs. This gives you more EVP, as well as the only place to get tickets. So definitely do that if you're running for tickets. But where are you going to use these tickets? So the extra challenge is where you use these tickets. Desert Mirage. Every time you complete this quest, every single one of your arcs that are equipped gain 2% ether. Okay, this next stage, which is 5 times as much tickets, which is also 5 times as much ether. So every time you complete this, you get 10% ether per quest. So you want to be, if you're relatively newer and even mid game when you're trying to max out your ether on arcs, you're going to be wanting to be farming these tickets and doing these stages with all arcs equipped. So if I add all 3 of these arcs are going to get 2% if I do this. And we've had events like this before, but for new people or newer people, you want to be using 3 arcs at minimum on this and boosting all of their ethers at the same time, because it's independent of who else is there. So 2% here, 5% here. Of course, it's 5 times as many tickets to be used. They give you a direct boost. Bonus challenge though. Definitely do this every day and definitely steal every day. I've been slacking on this heavily because I'm lazy. And I've just been auto running. So definitely do this every day. This gives you a nice little bit of event points, as well as medals, I believe they give.
Yes.
Or 80 per, as well as you steal, you get 160. So definitely snag that. And then in the trading space, which again, been slacking, so I've not gotten all this. All I did was get the prism so far, because I like prisms and SC. Beyland's Blade Care Kit, this is cool. Nothing crazy. I mean, Battlestar auto cast Brave and critical. This is essentially fast Brave and fast critical. This is not really that useful for most physical DPS, because most of them do come with this. But if they don't come with it at all, yes, then it's useful. 10 dark res and res to and +1 res to curse are nice to have. So nothing crazy, just good. Nova Blade Valenda is a neutral sword. It's going to have 151 strength, 21 mind, and then 8% physical attack damage. Cool. This would be good on him if you don't have any other options, and it's free from the event shop, so why not? Gacha tickets, Light of the Worlds, Mother Souls, Mega Clusters, other clusters. And I know a lot of people have asked, like, where do I get all the clusters to, like, upgrade units? Well, pretty much this entire shop, it may not have enough Mega Clusters, but all of this stuff is very useful for filling out a unit skill tree.
Yep.
When you're starting, event trade shops are the go-to for getting stuff. So definitely try to get your medals up and try to snag all that stuff from the shop.
Indeed.
Good stuff from the shop though, dude. Like from this event. It's a good event. I was just slacking hardcore.
I know a lot of people are wondering where Beyland's souls are at, and I think that it's pretty typical that directly after a collab, it feels like there's a lack of soul acquisition, because they don't do that for their original characters, their DOHs and their permanents.
Collabs have a completely different soul gain aspect.
So you're subject to the typical soul accumulation that comes around every once a day, every week, and your conquer spots, as well as auto running, auto farming. So, and the event missions give you some, but not a lot.
Yep. All right, let's go over the actual quality of life that happened.
Because
this is actually disgusting.
Okay.
We're going to do this first. Okay. The quality of life upgrades, because I am super, super excited for this. These every single day. So these special training gates in special skill study dungeons, correct me if I'm wrong, these are available every single day. 3 times for the special and 5 times for this skill study. It's training gate. I remember reading. Yes? Okay. This is where your Granadas supports come in. This special training gate with a Granadas is like 740,000 EXP for a solo unit.
It's nuts.
If you bring a Granadas support along with your solo unit, which, I mean, I can do that right now, actually. Or can I? I think everyone's leveled to... Oh, shit. Everyone's leveled to 110. And I don't have any worldly radiances. Shoot! Anyways, you'll have to trust me on this. I literally can't level anyone.
Nice.
It's like 370k EXP at base, and then 740 if you use a Granadas support.
Yep.
So use that, as well as the training gate at base, which is available 24/7, 365, 1 orb each run. After you finish those, with a Granadas, gives you 363,000. To go from level 1 to 110 is 66 runs of this. That's it. That's it.
Unheard of in last.
With a Granadas support. So double that if you don't have any Granadas or EXP ups.
Yeah.
Literally 132 total runs of this thing that's available 24/7 to get from 1 to 110. That's disgusting. That means your leveling for any units should be through the freaking roof for this.
Did you say it was 700 crystals at that rate?
Well, so 66 runs is essentially 66 orbs or 700 crystals, or like 600 crystals if you're refreshing, right? In total, with a Granada support, to get to 110. That's all it is. Instead of auto running night after night after night, getting EXP, this thing right here is stupid high in EXP.
ROI.
And they finally did it, dude.
Yep.
They finally did it.
Did you test the Zell fields?
I haven't touched the Zell fields at all, but from what I understand, this is like at minimum a few 100K, yes?
Okay.
Per run.
Okay.
This is the Infinite Zell gate, but I know there's like a gold rush thing that I missed. On Lockdown Friday. There's a gold rush thing. Apparently these give a ton more Zell now, which, I mean, let's just do it real quick. Why not? Gold Rush 2. I'm pretty sure I have Chrome has Gold Rush or that weird stuff on him, right? So we might as well use him. Let's see how much it is. So the 300 and some K or whatever I'm referencing right now is with a Granatus support, okay? Because he doesn't take away from your individual units EXP. He only boosts the overall party. That's solo unit. Granatus support is going to be 363,000 EXP per run for the highest level training gate that's available 24/7.
That means you can put him as a friend support and benefit other people if you have him, not yourself.
And this is along with the Fierce Instructor passive unlocked, right? And if he doesn't have that unlocked, then it's not going to work.
Yep.
When we get Soulfield again and got buffed as well, it sure did. It's only one wave now, and you get it's one time like 300K. It's like 300K souls, and then like I think it's like 25 or 40K
reds.
Like it's gonna be great.
I'm sure.
All right.
Yeah, they did some really, really nice looking buffs to these stages that were long overdue.
Yeah, let's see how much gold we get from this. We're not gonna count the first time stuff, but at least it'll list the gold.
Oh, yeah, right. See it right here. 94K?
94K at base. I think the gold rush is a little bit better.
That's the big one.
That's the big one for on Fridays. But even 100K per run for one orb. Yeah. If you need gold, like that's these enemies at max only have 58K HP.
Right.
Like what?
Right. For new. Yeah, definitely.
So he mentions, I'm just going to give you an example here. I can't actually have any units level up, but we're going to run each of these once, okay? I don't care about the gems. Let's go training gate. This is the special training gate, so this is going to be available at all times, every day, 3 times a day. Booda, you're ruining my...
hello.
Okay.
You got to run me, bro.
I'm not running you. That's it. I'm not running you. You get to go to IGC 3 and get wasted.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Good old Gen.
Sorry, boys. We got to get rid of Booda.
I'm being cast aside.
Yeah. Well, Gen doesn't help us here, so...
On my own podcast. It is very helpful for new players, Aradon, yes. Because intuitively, that's the first place you're going to look for specific materials like Zell, like experience, is the event tab that says training and has a big ol' get EXP, get Zell here.
It's actually useful now.
And now it's actually beneficial. It's not some weird counterintuitive thing.
So this is the training dungeon, all right? So we're going to bring... I have a couple, because I have infinite support, so I can use them over and over. And CVXXX has a support. And we're going to go with B. He doesn't need any levels, but I'm going to show you just how crazy this gets. So this is the one stage thing with a Granada support that gives me double XP. Okay. My unit's not going to share any XP with the support Granadas. I'm just going to sit here and absorb all of the EXP.
Yeah. The ideal way to level up these units is solo runs.
742,000 EXP. That is almost one level for every level above 100.
Yep.
Yep.
You need 15 million XP to 1 to 100. And then
15.5, and then 8 more million.
Yeah.
100 to 110.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's an example with Granadas. So that doubles it. So cut that in half if you are not using Granadas for individual unit. Sure, whatever. But then we're looking at the one that's available 24/7. So that's only available 3 times per day. Great. That's 2.1 million or 2.2 million EXP. But this one, if you have orbs and you got 10 orbs, this is hilarious. Let's make sure that we have another. Oh. All right. So we're going to do this once. I think I have EXP up 2 on, so you're not going to see the full support. But
next best.
I'm going to see if I can get another Granadas in my friend list real quick. We haven't even started about the AP dungeons yet.
Dude.
So good.
Craziness. Yeah, these are this
is 245,000 with not even a Granadas. This is plus 35% for an EXP up 2.
Yeah, that's
from
crazy,
Game Master. Man. Like,
yeah, that's just crazy. It's got to be close to 400k.
It's 363k is the max. We're gonna do finally got it. So we're gonna go do a Granadas with plus 100% bonus EXP for a solo unit. And if you're building your Granadas to do this stuff, make sure you know that people are gonna be using it to beat these levels. And for newer players, like, you might want to put some damage on them.
Yes, that's a very good
quicker.
example. That's a very good point.
But look at this, 363,000 EXP for something that's available 24/7.
Yeah, that's
for a solo unit.
That's crazy.
Leveling is no longer an issue. I mean, yes, you're limited by orbs, but your orbs refresh. You can have 10 of those every time you come back, every 5 hours. Okay, that's 3.6 million EXP every time you come back. Like, what the frick?
With the Granadas support. Don't forget.
Yeah, with the Granadas support. Even though it's without that, it's still half of it, which is ridiculous. But now, let's go on to my favorite part, which is the skill study dungeons. So, as a person who has gone in through deep lengths of, making sure my arcs are achievable in like 1, 2, 3 uses in like bigger skill study dungeons, this has absolutely blown that out of the water. The special skill study dungeon at max level, 1 orb, playable 5 times a day. This is going to give you 52 AP worth. 52x AP. What does that mean? Okay. So let's talk about this. What does that mean when teaching skills? What that means for any skill in the game, so we're going to preface this, as long as everything is max ethered, okay, at 100% ether, these are its base stats for like a UR. So 18 AP per run, costs 920 to get there. What 52x AP means is that every single skill on a UR arc, without having being extended at all, as long as it's max ethered, can be all learned in one friggin' run. One run. The entire UR arc. These 920 APs with only 18 AP for every quest is very annoying to teach. But with one quest, in this special one that's available 5 times a day, you can teach an entire UR arc to any unit you want. That's value as hell. Not only that, the one that is 24/7 available is 26 AP. That means in 2 orbs, you can teach an entire fully ethered UR arc to anyone in the game. That's gross.
Great, man. So good. I do a lot of last minute skill teaching too, so it's just amazing.
For anyone like potentially wanting to extend their arcs and to do anything, just it's crazy. What was it before? So for reference, this special skill study dungeon was only available during very specific events, like training events, and this was 40x at max. But this 24/7 one was only 8x, which means this was 3.25 more beneficial than before, or cost you basically 3 times as less orbs to teach all your skills, which it was already good at 8x, but at 26x, 2, without having to boost anything on URs, 2 orbs to teach an entire UR arc. That's nuts. We used to have to wait till like, the event maps to get like, 10x AP. Oh, teach me all this cool stuff. 10x AP, that's awesome. But no, we have 1 orb for 26 now.
So good. Such a good return.
Yep.
That's got to be your favorite part of this entire update.
Mine? Oh, big fan. Super big fan of the quality of life. Like, just the base EXP and skill training is stupid good. Even the Zell stuff, I don't use it, but I can see the benefit of it. The Gold Rush field on Fridays, heck yeah. But
yeah, the fact that auto
really nice.
This really closed the gap between the necessity to auto farm for things like EXP and Zell, I would say. Which is super valuable.
Pretty nuts. Well, guess what time it is?
Oh, let's talk about it.
Okay.
TOT.
We're gonna talk about it. You like Tower Trials. I actually think it's really funny on the right here that it shows that I'm floor 98 when like.
Yeah,
it's just because I don't know why that bug came up, but.
Whoa, interesting. So look at that. Look at me.
Oh, I know you're doing great, Booda.
Number 1.
98 was the one that I was last playing around with, the last one I beat, so it's only showing 98, which is weird. But regardless, 11.75% of people have cleared the 100th floor, which is quite a bit, in my opinion. That's a lot of people. I'm actually very impressed that this is so high. Because these last 10 floors that they added, which thank God they finally added 10 floors, so worth it in getting up here. I am very impressed with the difficulties, like not like Maze. It's just some of the hardest difficulty stuff we've had in the game so far yet, PvE wise, which is really cool.
Yes.
Tower has been and continues to be. Most of the floors continue to be a joke for a veteran account or even like a well-built account with the power creep that we have now. Oh my God, Beyland runs through the entire thing.
He does.
But yeah, there's a few levels in the last 10 that have posed people quite a bit of an issue. And they're all passable. They really are all passable. And
in many
maybe you need
ways.
the right units or the right setups for it and the right advice. So definitely check out people in the Discord, Booda's Discord, to get some advice on how to pass those levels. But love the new content. And I've been having way too much fun going back and using gate orbs to like have fun with parties. I now have 31 only. I've started this tower with 100.
You're a madman.
So yeah, rip my orbs, but it's fine. I'll just do the next one full. But what we're really here for, is what we get at the final level. Which reward none, because I think it's showing that because I already have it.
You already have it.
But the reward at the 100th level, okay, is this arc right here, the Lougseus, God of Ruin, second form arc. Yeah, you get a UR arc at the top of tower, which is sweet. Now, this isn't anything to rush level floor 100. You really, if you're newer, take your time. Like, it's okay. But when you get there, and when you get this as a relative veteran of the game, if you've been playing for a while, your whole account's built up, the arc's pretty good. Yeah, some really cool stuff, some awesome art. I'm sorry, but like they did a great job with this.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The artwork is the top tieriest thing of the arc.
It is. I will not disagree. That like solar, that like black hole, dark dimension background is so sick. Yeah. So just for reference, for what people will say, second form, when they're like, oh, this is the second form Lougseus, where's the shift? Well, unfortunately, if you've played the Lougseus Battle of All, this is the Lougseus God of Ruin first form, which is like the spectral form with all those little weird bubbles and shit. The second form is just his like humanoid form, pretty much. And that's the unit we already have. So people are saying like, oh, this is suggesting a shift. No, you're getting that wrong. This is this is his normal form that we've seen as a unit. But stat wise, level 10, 3000 HP, sick. 52 MP, not a trolling MP amount. That's good to see.
That's incredible.
341 strength, 338 intelligence, and then okay defense in mind. Sure, at level 10, it's definitely a good offensive arc. Not only that, the passives are actually fantastic. Why? I don't know about you, and I know a lot of people in the community like to make challenges for themselves to solo content, okay? Many people's first thought is like, oh, this is going to be useful in Maze. But outside of Maze, it's actually a very, very good arc. Like, if you have Shift Beyland or like any other unit you want to use and that has pretty good self-sustain, and you want to use them in solo content, flat out having 50% to all damage boosted, as well as all damage taken minus 20%, just for having the arc equipped, an unconditional, well, kind of conditional because solo, but essentially unconditional damage boost and damage mitigation boost is disgusting.
You can throw this on.
Yes,
PDPS.
This is not useful for units that are going to be in a situation where you're going to be having more than one.
Right.
But if you feel like soloing content and you have fun with that type of thing, this is an amazing arc for that. Probably the best in the game for soloing stuff, because high damage mitigation and extremely high damage potential. I mean, we've always talked about the best things in the game are niche, right? This requires you to be a solo unit. Game Master, one of the best physical attack damage boosting weapon arcs in the game, it requires you to have 8,000 fish. Things like Archbeing Eldravana requires you to have a single weapon, like stuff like that. In a situation where you're going to be using this arc, it's going to be the best in slot. So while it's not applicable to most content in the game because you're going to be using full parties and a lot of it, if you ever want to branch out and use solo units for stuff, this arc is sick.
It is.
Not only that, Battlestar, give a buff that nullifies the basic status ailment up to 3 times, permanent effect. Basically, you don't have to worry about status ailments for the first 3 times it's even trying to be applied on you. That's crazy. I mean, it's only basic status ailments, so it's only the 6 we have, being poison, blind, stun, illness, curse, silence. Not like freeze and things like seal and oh shit, what's the other one? I'm blanking on the other one, but regardless, venom or whatever the fuck it's called. Doesn't affect those, just only the basic 6. But having that basically shield for 3 of those is crazy. Then we get to the last part, right? So when no weapon, armor, or weapons are equipped, physical attack damage cap plus 5,000. This is pretty much useless, honestly. If you're using Lougseus in a situation where he's gonna have 5,000 damage cap because he has no armor or weapons, like I don't really care about this at all. The damage cap is not the main purpose of this arc at all. Still, you're losing that even if you want to use armor or weapons, but your damage potential for units are going to be most in their scenarios where they're probably using weapons. So physical attack damage cap plus 5,000 for using no armor weapons is pretty useless. I've already tested it out on Lougseus. It's garbage. When we get a unit that's going to use this efficiently, you guys will know. As of right now, it's not even useful. But no matter who you equip this on, if they have armor or weapons, the first 2 parts of this passive already are in effect. You don't need to care about the 5,000 damage cap. Like, we have many arcs like Game Master, like all those other physical damage boosting arcs that don't have damage cap. We don't really care. Those are still very good arcs, right? This is a very good arc for its passive for this scenario where you're going to be wanting a solo unit. And yes, to backtrack, Maze. This is going to be very, very good on a single unit to both give out damage and have damage mitigation to survive hard battles. I will give it that. It's going to be a top tier solo unit arc in Maze. Absolutely. Interesting. I really like the arc. The arc art is sick and the passives are great for that specific scenario. And which is important, right? We've always talked about having the most broken things or the most powerful things being having niche scenarios, which is great for the game. You don't want everything applying to the most powerful shit applying to everything in the game. That makes it kind of lame, right? But sure. As to the skill list, Pride, sweet. Dark Drive, finally getting Dark Drive in the game. We have never had this before. Dark physical attack and special damage plus 10%. Sweet, love to see it. I wish Dark High Drive was also on a freely acquirable arc, but that's only on a collab. Whatever. This is great. Fast Shadow we've also never had before. Automatically activates Shadow Wall at the start of the battle, which is minus 20% holy damage, or light damage, which we've gotten a ton of light units lately. I don't know if anyone's been a part of the community, but we have gotten quite a bit of light DPS. So in places like Arena, even in places like the Lougseus fights and story and all that kind of stuff that does light damage, this is going to be great. For the first 40 seconds, you'll get Shadow Wall. Awesome. Awaken. I think this is only the second place we've had this. This is on the Phoenix Blow Arc, but having this freely acquirable, guaranteed, and then getting this Awaken is a fantastic skill. So the fact that it's even on this arc is okay with me, and not having to just go over to Phoenix Blow and teach it just for that skill is good by me.
Agreed.
Then we go to Divine Rights skill, SC7. Battle start skills can be used for 30 seconds, but skill damage for 30%. Okay, this is a bit of a super niche skill, because if you're using physical DPS and you're wanting to do damage, more than likely you don't want to be having your units sitting there for 30 seconds not being able to use skills. That's pretty pointless. But where this is effective on is on supports that are like SCT batteries that want a regular attack but not use their skills to get MP back with Goddess Kiss, use spam Honey Elixir, Winner's Apple Pie, Keen Eye, Glass Record, all that kind of stuff. For the first 30 seconds of battle, and for however long it takes to get SCT, because it actually starts them out with 0 SCT, you're going to be able to regular attack only pretty much, or use spells. Which, I don't know about you, Booda, but I have seen the value of the Elder King Mask, which is an equipment in the game, but there's only one of them. And so for places like Maze, for places like where we want multiple Goddess Kiss users and, getting high regular attack damage and getting that MP back to spam SCT on for the rest of the units, this becomes very good for those scenarios. On units like Gen, on units like Xbet, on units like V, on other good regular attackers who can get a lot of MP back during those first 30 seconds in fast burst battles where you can refill SCT, dude.
No, I get the value.
It's value for a very specific purpose. Is it useful on your units for the first 30 seconds of not using skills and then afterwards getting 30% damage? No, I don't. No, just no. If you know a battle and you're not working for time and you're lacking a lot of physical DPS multipliers, and you don't care about how fast you do battles, then sure, you could use it. But
do you have
in that scenario, I wouldn't. I would never use it.
Do you have a justification as to why it's 30% rather than 50%?
I do not. One is? I was actually curious as to why it was 30% instead of the Divine Rights magic, which is 50% damage. No, I don't know. If it was 50%, that's a huge damage boost. I mean, 30%, that's a huge damage boost.
And I feel like waiting 30 seconds is, would warrant a boost like that. But 30%, I'm not feeling it.
Yep. If you're ever going for like time trial times and all that kind of stuff, this is essentially useless. Not useless on your supports because,
Locks.
Battery stuff. But for your actual physical DPS that are doing the damage, your skill damage 30% boost is trading that off for the first 30 seconds, not being able to use skills. I don't like that at all. But it has its uses. It's actually it's a very useful skill because I run many burst battles where I have one physical DPS and then 2 batteries, and there's only one Elder King Mask. So yes, definitely useful. Lougseus' Revelation, on the other hand, is a bit weird. Now, I want you to keep in mind that most things in the game damage modifiers are multiplicative. So this being 8 SC for only 7% damage, while that may not seem like well priced, it's first of all damage and is only ineffective against one typing in the game. So you're looking at physical, magical, arc skill, special damage against all 15 out of the 16 types in the game, as well as it essentially being a multiplicative boost, right? It's a 7% boost on top of everything that's already happened. So 8SC may not be reasonable for that, but it's not unreasonable. And for units that there's not many ways to boost, or not many ways to boost even still magical damage, even still arc skill damage itself. Physical damage, you probably would never use this if you're using a physical DPS. Only if you're lacking like a ton of damage multipliers. But special damage, there's a ton already. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see it being that useful, but
it's relative. It's relative to the scope of all damage, right? You can't compare this to weapon boosts. You can't compare this to individual damage multipliers and then look at the AC and say, "Oh, this is trash. What are they thinking?"
Right. If you're looking at like a thing like sword boost, which is 10% physical damage for 4 SC, that's completely different because that's very specific, right?
Correct.
I get exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like the attack raises.
Yeah. They're going to be expensive because it's all damage of that specific thing. And this is even more relevant than attack raises because that's only one damage type. This is literally all damage, any typing or any attribute, doesn't matter, against everything except gods.
Yes. So it does make sense. Is it then useful? Not necessarily, but...
Right. And these things things like this will only bear their fangs and show that they're usable at a later time. Like we might find a place where we're gonna need that extra damage boost. Especially if you don't have everything in the game. Like this becomes a useful thing. I don't know. To me, it's still good because even if you're only building your unit for physical DPS, and you still have boosted alt damage, you still have boosted arc skill damage, you still have boosted magic damage. I don't know. You know what I mean? You know what I mean.
I know what you
Unfortunately,
mean, bro.
Getting that point across is not always.
Doesn't always translate, but as long as it hits like one or two other people, then I'm fine.
Yep. Good deal. As to the Arc Ether reward, God Fetter. So, another light sword. I really do wish this would have been dark, dude. Like
Everyone.
I don't get it, man. We are the severe lack of the friggin' dark swords. All right, that's my small rant. I wish it was dark, but being a light sword, being high strength and high intelligence, which is great. That's actually really nice stats. Its passives are friggin' weird, dude. Unfortunately, the second part I'm going to go off the bat. Physical attack damage plus 10% to god type enemies. Very specific. 1 out of 16 types in the game. And it's a low damage potential, right? 10%? Come on, man. Like make it like 20, 25%. And then the first part is regular attacks only. Like when I'm on physical DPS, regular attacks only, come on. So where this is useful, in my opinion, where this is useful is not necessarily your physical DPS. This, because it does apply that 20% damage debuff from enemies, supports your, like we just talked about, the Divine Right skill stuff, your Elder King Mask supports. If you throw this on them and they're able to apply that physical damage minus 20% debuff, basically nuking the enemy's offensive prowess, still good. Something you're going to be forcing a unit to regular attack with to apply that? Absolutely. And it doesn't even need to be big damage. Like this is just a thing that applies this debuff. So I actually do like it a lot. I think it could, in a certain scenario, it could be pretty busted because it's more of a defensive weapon than anything. But definitely not a top tier offensive weapon at all. It's okay.
Not even close.
Nothing crazy. I know people have been saying all along, like, oh my god, if this gets God Forged, well, we gotta wait for it, right? Like, there's so many weapons in the game that have not been God Forged yet. This is almost definitely not on their top tier things to do. But this is literally the sword in Lougseus' chest, which is hilarious.
For sure.
It's literally the sword in his chest, which I think is cool that it ties into the Ark itself as the Ark Ether. So, cool. Defensive. We don't have many like defensive weapons in the game, like applying debuffs, except for like ailment weapons, right? This is actually one that applies a defensive mitigation debuff essentially for the whole team, right? Cool. I like it.
It'll come in handy. It will. But it is just doesn't quite hit that mark that I think many of us want it to, especially with how cool it looks.
Oh, and the hitting tower to level 100 is like a hell of
That's
an
a
achievement,
big,
in all
it
honesty.
is. It is.
And
I
us
think
finally getting it after they took so long
yes.
to make it. Um,
I think
in
they,
this specific scenario, the funny thing about this is like every month that we get tower back, and every month that you will clear tower to level 100 if you've already done it, you'll get another extend. So this is the first time out of any UR that we've ever had where I would suggest to put it into stats.
Yep.
Because like it doesn't have an arc skill, so you're in the clear. You're not gonna screw that up. But even adding to the AP with the way the skill dungeons are now, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
If it's max ethered, who cares? At the max, it's gonna take 2 orbs to max out on any unit you want to use. So using your extends into HP and strength, defense, intelligence, mind, MP, whatever, you can do whatever you want. I'm probably gonna do HP first because I like massive HP, but you'll get extends for this as you clear tower again and again, which is dope.
Yeah, I think it'll be just fun. It's going to be very fun to use in solo unit showcases.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
should definitely be fun. That's a massive damage boost for just being the only unit there.
yeah, and all damage, which is just
all
cool.
Damage, magic damage, special damage,
special,
it's crazy.
Physical. Yeah, I'm a fan. So we'll see. We'll see when it and if it gets a little Godforge treatment. But that I don't see that happening until way down the line. We just got it. So cool. Mr. Tweacz. That's everything on my agenda.
What else did you want to talk about, dude?
I don't have anything. Honestly, I'm trying to think of a PG way to say this. I am ready to wrap up the pod.
I think I know what you're alluding to.
What
I'm talking you gotta visit the little.
I gotta visit the throne. Whoa! Well, Doomcaster.
Well played,
I'm gonna have to
Russell, well played, sir.
Split that one with the tweakers, cause geez Louise, Tweacz is too good to me.
Yep, you keep it, bro.
Well,
legit.
damn,
Thanks, Russell.
I
appreciate you, bro.
Very stunned, but I do need to make a quick exit. Funny story to be told maybe later, cause I don't have time right now. But
okay.
I think that's all we got for you this time. Thank you, Tweacz, for holding it down. Thank you for everyone who came out to the live podcast. I'll make sure to chop and edit it and post up with timestamps so you can watch it in the next couple days and look out for some more content. Obviously, awkward because it's on a Monday, but we have probably news flooding in for part 2 or whatever, and then potentially a podcast this Thursday. I'm not sure. So just be on the lookout on the social medias. Thank you guys. As always, like, subscribe, bell noties, and with all that being said, y'all know what we say. Work hard, play harder. See you in the next podcast.